Hi, I'm Barry Lawrence, the Program Director of the Industrial Distribution Program at Texas A&M. Texas A&M's Industrial Distribution Program has joined with the NAW Institute for Distribution Excellence to form a Council for Research on Distributor Competitiveness. This council will be conducting research consortia each year. So a consortium will be formed each year to study how to improve a particular topic of great interest to distributors and how to continue to make distributors the cutting-edge methodology for going to market. The topic that we've chosen this year is sales and marketing optimization. The reason we're choosing sales and marketing optimization as our first topic is because the sales force contributes over 50% of the activities of a distributor. In point of fact, operations is merely a response to what the sales force does. When the sales force goes out, they generate opportunities and they put together a message for us, a marketing message as to why you want to do business with us the way we want to do business. Operations then has to respond to that message. And if operations cannot configure itself efficiently, then the company quite likely will lose money or will not be able to sustain long-term competitiveness. The problem with this is that it kind of puts the cart before the horse. We send that sales force out there without a marketing message, without a story of why you want to do business with us, and most importantly, the second half, the way we want to do business. We set up and configure our operations and we make our investments based upon what it is that we think our customer base is going to need. And once we've done that, we try to optimize that process. But then the sales force goes out and they work with customers, and customers often try to change that. Now, sometimes the changes are necessary. Sometimes the changes are valuable. Sometimes the changes reflect what's truly happening in the marketplace. But more often, the changes reflect what a customer thinks they need that they may or may not need. And a salesperson without a clear, coherent marketing message is going to have a very difficult time convincing the customer to do what we want them to do, or to even possibly understand what it is that we want them to do in order to hold down our cost. Operations decisions are very complex. Operations resources are very expensive. And understanding how to optimize those is a difficult problem for a salesperson to try and solve on their feet when they're with a customer. So what we want is we want to have a clear message that can go out. Combining that marketing message together with the right types of techniques for the sales force to apply has more opportunity to change the distributor's competitive position, we believe, than virtually any other area out there. And we think most salespeople would agree. Now, one of the important components of this consortium is that we will take what we call a scientific approach. In the softer sciences, like sales, we often consider it to be an art. Well, the problem is that art doesn't translate onto a profit and loss statement, and it does not translate onto a balance sheet. The fact of the matter is the expectations of the art must be established, and they must be thoroughly defined, and then we must figure out what steps in the artistic process create the greatest value to our profitability. Without these definitions, salespeople are basically out there just swinging for the fences in any way that they think they should. You should never underestimate the power of your sales force. They are the differentiating factor for a distributor. They do create the value. As the old saying goes, nothing happens until somebody sells something. This is all true. But we also know, especially those of us who spent many years in sales, that sales is also a very detailed process, and that salespeople who pay the closest attention to details and find successful avenues and then use those again and again, honing that skill to perfection, are the ones that add the greatest value to our companies. We will seek in the scientific approach to lay out the specifics of how that happens, not when and how to say what to who, but more how to understand how operational responses to sales decisions and how to motivate the salespeople towards the right decisions. All of that, take it back and make sure that it's on the P&L statement and it's on the balance sheet, and it ultimately hits the all-important return on investment. The outcomes of the consortium are going to be, first off, a series of projects that will be conducted on consortium members. The consortium members are helping us create this body of knowledge, and we want to make sure that they get optimal value from it. So you'll see at several stages where the consortium members are the heart and soul of this activity. So the consortium members will have individual study done on each of their companies. That will be kept confidential. That information, however, as we conduct those studies, that activity will give us a framework for determining how any distributor, if they wanted to make an improvement in their operations, could do so. And so we will lay out the framework there, but the framework will be directly applied to those companies. Then that framework will be taken back and a book will be developed to be published by the NAW Institute so that the entire distribution community can take that book, take a look at what they're doing, and seek to apply the framework to themselves. Finally, the next step will be a series of educational programs. These educational programs will be built around the knowledge gained in the consortium. The book will be distributed through these educational sessions in addition to other channels that NAW will distribute it through. And the book will be then the basis of the educational experience there, and we will be able to do case studies, and we will be able to do specific examples and work through them on how to improve this process for the company. Consortium members, again, making sure that they are rewarded for their contribution to the body of knowledge, will get 20 free seats, which is worth far more than a consortium membership is. So the intent here is to create a broad body of knowledge with a set of research partners, our consortium members, and to make sure that we add ultimate value to those consortium members. The consortium's timeline will begin in April of this year with our first consortium meeting. And then from the consortium meeting onwards, we'll be conducting research with the individual companies, where our research team will be in contact with those companies, up to the companies as to whether they come to Texas A&M campus or we do it remotely. But the research projects will be going on for the next few months with each of the individual companies. In September, we'll do a midterm update, but that won't require travel on the part of the consortium members, as it will be set up through a distance vehicle such as a webinar. Then, in March of next year, we'll have our final consortium meeting, which will cap the research at that point. So by that time, the companies would have had full information on them. They'll be months ahead of the rest of the community learning about it. Immediately following the final consortium meeting, the book will be developed and the educational sessions will be developed to be offered in the latter part of 2010.